Hello everyone, my name is Jia Yang. I came from Toyota Transportation Research Institute at Japan, and its presentation is about our research works about the autonomous vehicle and their effects, incorporating both unobserved latent variable and observed explanatory variables. Here is the outline of this presentation. First, I will introduce our institute and then give a brief introduction about this research works. And as you see here, our research institute is established as an incorporated foundation in 1991 through the cooperation between Toyota City and private companies, including the most famous company called Toyota Motor Corporation, and it is a unique institute in Japan which conducts study and research into urban traffic and transportation. Here is the mission of our institute. Now, this slide introduces what is EVs, autonomous vehicles, and in recent years, as we know that this kind of vehicles are drawing more and more attention, not only in the technical engineering fields, but also in scientific research fields. As we can see here, this kind of autonomous vehicles can detect vehicles and pedestrians on road through using sensors and cameras. So it expects that it can reduce the driving stress and increase the reading time and commuting time. And they have many merits, such as relieve the road congestion, prevent vehicle crash, and reduce CO2 emission, and others. As we know that the autonomous vehicles do not have its merits, but does have its demerits. And demerits is listed here. And due to its demerits, many drivers are anxious about the safety and reliability, which may be reduce the social acceptability and impede the penetration of autonomous vehicle in future. To investigate the feasibility of this kind of vehicles, and many countries such as USA, Japan, China have been implementing social experiments, and many corporations in Japan, just like here, they have carried out the technical development for this kind of vehicles. Although there's a long way from the level 1 to the level 5, it's a hard task. Here, besides the technical innovations for autonomous vehicles, investigation to the social accessibility to them is also very important. We can find many papers in the USA and Japan which investigate the social accessibility to them, but we cannot find many papers about the more countries than China, because Chinese government has set a very strict restriction on the personal information, such as the results of questionnaire. But our previous study has implemented an international comparative study between Japan and China for autonomous vehicles and their effects using a simple method. And this is very important. Maybe it's very important research works, but it do not have it consider two problems here. One is it do not consider the unobserved latent variables, and that is cannot observed in the model directly, and at the same time it does not observe the relationship between them. So this study want to investigate the two problems, and what is the relationship for the latent variables, for example, the user intention, expectation, anxiety, and social acceptability, and what is the difference between the Chinese drivers and the Japanese drivers is also investigated in this study. And this is the research objective and the methods here. We can know that this study is exchange of private researchers to investigate the difference in attitude to autonomous vehicle between Chinese and Japanese, to incorporating the both latent and explanatory variables using a structure equation modeling approach. And we use the questionnaire collected in Japan and China respectively, and the latent variables here into 4 categories, that is user intention, expectation, anxiety, and social acceptability. And we use this IBM's parse almost to measure the relation among the latent variables and the explanatory variables with a graphical chart that calls the path diagram. This slide is introducing the data of our service implemented in China and Japan respectively. Since here, because we have the same numbers of the sample in Japan and China, but we found the age categories is very different because there is a very small number of the older drivers, that is over 60 years old, so the sample share of this data is very small. And this is the instruction for the structure equation models, and maybe someone you know that this model can explain the relationship between the measured variables. Maybe it's the indicator sometimes in the questionnaire of the rank of the ordered rank data, and the latent variables here, just in here, to that maybe cannot observe directly here, and we can use this measurement model to measure the relation for this kind of variables to the latent variables, and structural model is here to measure the relationship between the latent variables. And some software has their package to calculate or estimate this problem. This problem is a very simple way, and you can find this case study in this IBM reference book. And this is the variables used in the structural equation models, such as user intention. We use different indicator variables to measure it to understand the car usage present situation and the social acceptability to the autonomous vehicles and autonomous society. And this is expectation about how the autonomous vehicles can have their effects in the future, and this anxiety about the autonomous vehicles, first about maybe some cyber security and the other factors. And this is the estimation result for the Japanese driver here, and we can find the different, there is a correlation between the different latent variables, and this is the affection between the latent variables is here, and this is the result for the Chinese driver here. We can maybe have the similar results, and for the indicators and the latent variables relationship between them, but we have some different model here, model result here. And this is the conclusion of this research works. First, the correlation between the usage intention and expectation, and that between the expectation and anxiety is positively for 2 sample data. And second is the correlation between the use intention and anxiety is negative for 2 sample data. And third, usage intention and expectation has significant positive impacts for the social accessibility for the 2 sample data. And the important is here we found that anxiety have significantly negative impact on the social acceptability only for the sample data of Japanese, and indicate the fact that Japanese have more accessibility for AVs, autonomous vehicles, and may impede the social accessibility of AVs compared to Chinese. And the limitation of this study is here. We do not consider the difference of the 8 categories, and we also did not consider the attributes related to the individual and household attributes to the sample data in the model structure, and we will continue this to study these 2 factors in future. Thank you. Thank you very much.